Kevin Arnold and Nick Paulus.
Happy Sunday night, everyone, and welcome on in to another edition of the Voice of the Land here on the Big Play Network, and of course, partnered with Web Streaming Studio by LPV Productions. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Arnold. I am back this week. I want to thank my brother across the table that joins me, as always, Nick Paulus, and of course, our buddy Tyler, who does sponsor the show. We'll get into that in just one moment, for holding down the fort last week, along with our producer extraordinaire behind that proverbial glass, Peter Tullup, last week. Great show, guys. I enjoyed tuning into that. I appreciated the on assignment thing. Did have to, it was, family emergency elements.
I wanted to hold it down for you, but at the same time keep it respectful.
Right.
So.
That is the industry terminology for it when a sports media or a media member is out, or a sports talk show host is out. They are on assignment, whether they go on vacation, just take a day to themselves. It was a family matter. My fiance and I, we needed to attend to, but we do appreciate all the prayers, the well wishes received, and especially out to my future awesome in-laws and, of course, the future awesome mother-in-law. I said that a couple weeks ago because I got a card that for Valentine's Day, because moms always kind of give you those Valentine's Day cards and stuff, and she signed it. She put her and her husband's name down, her parents, Jana's parents' names down, and underneath her name she said, future awesome mother-in-law. So that's how that's how I have to refer to her moving forward. So so I appreciate that. But again, great show last week. Love when Tyler comes in, and hopefully we can get, as COVID starts to hopefully turn a corner, get all of us in here and have that round table discussion we've been wanting to have for a while.
It would be a lot of fun. I am super happy and glad that you are back, because hosting a show is not as easy as like being co-pilot over here. So just to get off topic here for us, obviously as quick as it does.
VTL. We go off. If those letters worked out any better, it would be off topic. But
yeah, every once in a while it's WTF. But that's how it always goes. But yeah, hosting the show. So, and I'm sure you're like this as well. Whenever you get into the topics, we talk topics pre-show, everything like that. I told Tyler and Peter, kind of what, I want to run through. And as soon as I was like, you know what, I want to avoid JJ Watt topics. And then what's the first thing that comes out of my mouth?
JJ Watt.
So JJ Watt, he hasn't signed with the Browns. And like, I spend a minute on that. And then midway through, I'm like, you know what, we're cutting that off. Baker Mayfield, like went all over the place that first segment. Got my feet wet a little bit after that, and then it was okay. But I'm super happy to have you back to wrangle the reins there for us.
I mean, you did a great job last week. Come on now.
It took about 20 minutes. A solid third of the podcast. It was a little all over the place, but I'm happy that you're back. So thank you for that.
This is not easy. Either way, it's really not easy. People think it's just you just jump on, get a camera in your face, put a microphone, just start talking sports. Nope.
Not at all.
Not at all. But in reference to what we are going to talk about tonight, we are going to get into NBA All-Star Weekend. The festivities are going on right now as we speak. They're doing it all in one day. They got the skills competition, the three-point contest during the pregame festivities. They're going to do the dunk contest at the halftime of the game. You got Team LeBron versus Team Durant. We can kind of give our picks for that, but more so we're going to focus on the Cavs. Where are the Cavs at NBA All-Star Weekend? Where do we stand with the Cavs? We'll also talk about the Indians. There was more information about Micky Callaway and the alleged behaviors and acts, of course, from his time with the Mets, but also it's now dating back to his time with the Indians. When did they know? When did they not know? We'll get into all of that as well and kind of talk a little bit about the Indians. They've started spring training and maybe what their prospects could be this year. We'll see. And, Baker saw a UFO this week. So
he saw something.
This is something that you can't explain. And so we're going to kind of talk about the supernatural or conspiracy theories, kind of the supernatural conspiracy theories tonight. Is there one you believe in, you don't believe in, why people talk about it? And if you're tuning in right now and you really believe, whether it's aliens, Bigfoot, ghosts, something like that, something you're really into that most people maybe not so much believe in, reach out to us. Comment below on the stream that you're watching on. Of course, we are live right now on our Twitter page at VTL_pod, as you can hear that going on. Just a little preview of that, of how it sounds. It sounds amazing because thanks to Peter in the background.
Absolutely.
He does an amazing job making us sound and look as good as possible on camera. So at VTL_pod on Twitter, at Voice of the Land on Facebook, Big Play's Facebook page and YouTube page at Big Play Live, and of course on the Sportscaster app. You can't watch the whole show, you want to watch it back, go ahead and tune into any one of those platforms to watch the rest of the show that you may miss tonight, or you just want to tune into the audio, you don't want to see our faces for some reason. Get it, I understand. Not gonna bother us very much at all, but you can still hit us up and tune in. After the show is done, we'll always post the audio to Google, Spotify, Apple, and any podcast platform you can really think of. Search Voice of the Land, you'll find us right there. And we always post some special clips maybe throughout the week on our Twitter page, Instagram under the same handle at VTL_pod. And we do have a YouTube page of our own at Voice of the Land Podcast. Find Paulus, have those sports conversations, paranormal, supernatural conversations at CLE_Paulus. Myself at Kevin and Seven. And Peter can be found by reaching out to LPV Productions at LPV Productions on all social media sites. Before we do get into the topics of the night, I do want to mention and send our condolences to the family, friends, fans, anyone, colleagues of the late, great local icon, music legend, Michael Stanley, who did pass away at the age of 72. Michael Stanley and his band always having an emphasis where he grew up, never forgetting where he started here in Northeast Ohio, and of course on local radio. That's kind of where I know him from, being a radio DJ of music that I was brought up on. Classic rock, the Led Zeppelin, the Who, the Doors, all of those great bands that have had influence of music of the past, but have influenced so much music today. And Michael Stanley is one of those guys that has influenced the music industry, as well as what we're trying to do, getting into show hosting, whether it's on the music side, sports side, no matter what. That radio voice that you hear, one of those true inspirations. So we'd be remiss as a local sports talk, but also local show here in Northeast Ohio that emphasizes anything we can, shed a light on anything we can that is important in this area. We'd be remiss if we didn't send those condolences and well wishes to his family, friends, and colleagues out there in the world. Do want to also shout out, as I mentioned, thank Tyler, of course, for stepping in last week. Can't thank our sponsor enough at DP Construction LLC. You can find them there on Facebook with all the pictures, all the concrete construction they do. Also, reach out by phone for any questions you may have. You need a concrete project done around the house, around the business possibly. Reach out and see what they can do for you. Of course, Tyler, Uncle Steve, putting in that work at all times. And you can reach out by phone at 330-217-4999. That is 330-217-4999. And they will work tirelessly. Whew, words can be hard. Man, if that's how I'm starting this show, and I got to work overnight tonight, oh boy.
It's going to be a rough one for you.
It's going to be a rough one. But these guys will put in the work, and I'm sure no matter if they're tired, exuberant, whatever they're going through, they're going to do the same exact work for you that they've done for everybody else. It's going to be beautiful work. It's
going to be gorgeous here the next couple of days.
It is.
So, and then obviously after that, it's going to rain for a week and a half straight. But,
and snow and
of course,
it's Northeast Ohio weather.
Absolutely.
GVR Work has that the perfect shirt, the T-shirt that they have where it's the 7-day forecast, and it's got every single possible weather listed there, because we can literally go through that not just in a week, in a day. We can go through every single element of weather here in Northeast Ohio, and that's something we've become accustomed to. But through all of that weather, DP Construction LLC will get the job done for you. Turning two sports tonight before I got to work overnight. Shout out to Austin, Matt, my buddies over there, working in the retail industry, setting the department tonight, trying to redo it all in one night. Austin, Matt, Dave, I'll be there soon. Don't worry. I'll get the energy somehow, some way. And I get that energy from talking sports. That's how I get through the day. Talking, thinking about sports just gives me that energy, that natural energy that I need to get through the day. And basketball is at the top for me. It is NBA All-Star Weekend. It's usually my favorite weekend with Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Fortunately, due to COVID, we're not at that point. We can't have that all at one time. People are wondering, should they have even done this? Maybe giving All-Star selections to guys, but not necessarily having the game, putting people at risk. Already a couple guys that can't play tonight. I believe it's Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons of the 76ers.
Yeah, got their hair cut. Barber tested positive, which is ridiculous, but okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, contact tracing, it's still a thing. It's still going to be out there for a while. The vaccine is just getting out there. They're going group to group.
Yep.
People are wondering if the game should be happening tonight, but the Cavs, up until this point, kind of had a roller coaster of a season. And the last game that they had was kind of a microcosm of their season. Get up big against Indiana. They're up 77-60 late in the game. And Indiana able to come back for the 5-point victory the other night. And that's just kind of how the season's gone. You've seen the effort. You've seen defensive prowess. You've seen defensive woes. You've seen offense that, shooting lights out from three, and an offense that can't shoot anything from three, mid-range, up close to the basket. It's been an all-encompassing element of basketball here in Cleveland. And Peter kind of said it best in the beginning of the show. He saw that the Cavs were winning in that game. He was kind of working, comes back, gets home, game's just about to finish, and seeing that Indiana came back to win the game. And he's like, that's just what
I've been there before. It's
seen this one before.
Seen this movie so many times.
That would have been their fourth in a row, fifth in a row?
Would have been their fourth in a row. Fourth in a row, yeah. It would have been their fourth in a row.
And I was like, because a lot of times I don't end up watching the Cavs, but I'll listen to them when I'm driving home from a meeting or whatever. And I'm like, all right, if they had like a 17-point lead at one point, I was like,
yeah.
When I was listening, I think they had a 19-point at one point before I wasn't listening then. But I'm like, all right, and then it's chipping away. Then they build it back up, chipping away. By the time I'm about to pull in the driveway, it's like, and the Pacers are up. It's like, son of a...
Yeah. It has been one of those years where, it's a rough season to be a Cavs fan at this point in time.
So as Cavs fans, is there one word or just one emotion or one way that you can sum up where you are? I guess this is what they consider the midway point. Where are you at All-Star break for the Cavs? One word, one emotion, one way to sum it all up. Paulus, where are you with this team today, March 7th, 2021?
I'll just make it simple. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought whenever they got off, if we were doing a quarter poll, whenever they were 10-10 or whatever it was, surprising.
Yes.
And now the last quarter here for us, the past quarter here, it just wasn't that great. You have the 10-game losing streak, and then you win 3 in a row, immediately right after that. So you're like, okay, cool. Here we go. We're going to be getting back on pace, a little bit. And we're only 2.5 games out, I believe, from that 9-10 slot, which, they're going to be doing that little play-in bubble game or however they're going to be doing it. But I think we're only 3 or 3.5 out from the 8th seed. So you still have, a capability of actually making the playoffs, of being a playoff team there for us. Now, you're not a contender, obviously, but, even sneaking your way into the playoffs would be kind of cool. I would like that personally, to see some playoff basketball in the, just playoff basketball in general. But I think that would take away from what I believe is pretty solid chances of getting Cade Cunningham or another superstar in the draft. Now, we've been picking at the 5th spot for the last couple of years as well. And obviously, I mean, getting Darius Garland, I like Garland, but he's not a bust, but he just isn't my cup of tea. You know, like shooting under 45%. And like, I mean, hell, he was like 9 of 27 in one of our victories. And it's like, if you could be more efficient, like that would be fantastic. But I just don't see that. Colin Sexton's been balling out lately. Jared Allen, like that is the one move so far this year that I've been like, oh my God, I can't believe how good this guy is. And if we're able to sign him in the offseason to, extend his stay here in Cleveland, that would be fantastic. But you hear the rumblings now of, possibly trading Larry Nance Jr., Kevin Love. There was a source out there that said the Mavericks are interested in Kevin Love. All for it.
I've seen Sacramento too.
Tyler said it was it's going to be Tyler's birthday on Tuesday, so happy early birthday, Tyler!
Shout out to the March birthday.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was his birthday, or coming up, whatever. And was hanging out with him last night. He said, what did he say? He was like, you know what? Just send us back a Luka jersey. Like, hey, you can have like Kristaps Porzingis sign it. Like it doesn't matter. Like, we'll take that in exchange for Kevin Love's contract.
Right.
I'm all for that. But right now, one word for me, I don't know where we're at right now. So,
Peter, I know you're not the biggest of basketball fans, of course, fan of the Cavs because you're a fan of Cleveland, but basketball kind of more down the list for your sports fandom. Where are you at with this Cavs team, kind of where you stand with your fandom with them?
I'm pretty much right there with Nick. Honestly, I was kind of like I said, not watching, but listening to that game, because I actually love listening to the basketball games on the radio when I'm driving.
Sure.
Because, they do such a great job. I can visualize what's going on.
Yeah.
Problem is, I'm listening to it. I'm like, wait, who's who? There's so many names that I don't recognize anymore.
It's been a while for you, huh?
It's been a while.
Do you know who Damian Dotson is?
No, I don't. See, so
we have a new D Wade on the team.
Yeah, we do have a D.
I'll tell you what.
Oh my
that
gosh!
Took me.
Please.
I'm listening. I'm like, what? I'm like,
we have a better D Wade. How about that?
Because that's Dean, right?
Dean Wade. I'm like, I got to hear this.
Oh no,
that took me a bit, but yeah, I'm kind of with Nick. I'm just kind of like sigh, Here we go again. So,
all right,
here we go.
Because again, I'm the big basketball nut on this show. So before I get into where I'm at with the team overall this season, I got to address something real quick.
Okay.
I know that a lot of it is kind of tongue-in-cheek, joking around type stuff, but I've seen a lot of posts about Cavs got a new D-Wade and they got a better D-Wade, or they do the...
Yeah, Baby Goat.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to call him. Baby Goat.
So they got the picture of Dean Wade next to a picture of Dwayne Wade, and it's like D-Wade greater than sign, D-Wade for the Cavs. Yeah. All right. I know that they were actually 4-0. That would have been, I think, would have been their 5th straight win if they could have beaten Central Division foe Indiana Pacers, who are really not what they used to be. You get rid of so many guys, and all they got is Domantas Sabonis, which, with the length that the Cavs have, you should have been able to control that game in the paint.
Right.
You didn't. I digress. I move on. But Dean Wade, once they put him in the starting lineup, I understand they were 4-0. I'm going to say it was a little bit more coincidental, but I want to give credit to Dean Wade before I'm not going to rail on the guy or say he's
not
terrible.
Knock him. Right.
Because what the Cavs have been missing is a stretch big, a stretch 4, and that guy can shoot from the outside. That's what kind of opened up the lane more for Garland and Sexton to create for themselves and for others, and got that ball moving.
Yeah.
Something that the NBA is all about is ball movement. Of course, you can thank Golden State for that. That was kind of the model, but the ball does move quicker by the pass than the dribble. And when you can get ball movement going on and you have good dribbling guards that can create and get the ball out to shooters, but also create for themselves in the lane and have the strength to finish at the rim, Colin has added that strength. I think Darius needs to add some of that strength to have a little bit more success and have more sustained success on the floor as a point guard or a creating guard in the NBA. When you have those kind of guys, when you move the ball, now there's space for shooters to get open, but also room in the lane because you're moving those big guys in and out. So they can't just stand in there and use their length against you and protect that rim all game long. That's what JaVale McGee, Andre Drummond when he was playing, even the young guy Jared Allen, that's what they like to do. If you can get an offense stagnant, you know that if they try to drive, your guys staying in front, they're leading them to your help. All you got to do is use that length to your advantage. And that just makes that defensive job that much easier. When you have big guys that can stretch the floor and they're a threat from the outside the arc, now there's more options. So that's what the Cavs were missing and kind of got them back into a rhythm that you saw early in the season. I don't want to hear anybody seriously. I'm not saying people are saying it seriously. I'm just putting the kibosh on this right now.
Okay.
I don't want anybody saying Dean Wade is better than Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade is a future Hall of Famer, one of those great shooting guards.
How about this? Because that's an obvious one.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
How about Dean Wade now versus Dwayne Wade whenever he was with the Cavs?
This is where
that's a better one.
This is where I want to qualify the argument.
Right.
What Dean Wade has done for this Cavs team
is
better purpose-wise or scheme-wise than what Dwayne...
greater than...
Not greater than, just more impactful for this team. Dean Wade wouldn't even... You'd put Dwayne Wade in the game over Dean Wade any single day of the week. It's just
probably still do it right now, and he's been out of the game for a year. So yeah,
and he's getting that dad bod working, but he's relaxing down in Miami, and
he's in South Beach. He can do whatever the hell he wants down there.
He's earned it.
Yeah, absolutely.
He has earned it, especially down there. He has earned it. But Dwayne Wade, when he was here with the Cavs, I just think it was, if we would have had him a couple years earlier, if he was a guy that would have came with LeBron here instead of LeBron going with Wade there, you would have seen the true Dwayne Wade. It was something with that team. It was almost kind of the indication, hindsight being 2020.
Sure.
It was kind of the indication at that time that things were about to, everything that was good over those 4 years when LeBron came back was about ready to be done and kind of hit that reset
100%.
button again.
Yeah.
That was kind of the start of it. And it was kind of nice of the Cavs, a nice gesture to what Dwayne Wade has meant to the NBA to help him get back and finish his career with Miami. And he was able to help some of those young guys. And Miami's got a decent squad down there with young talent, and of course Jimmy Butler. Talking about that man, Jimmy Butler. Who's that? Froggy Fresh, right? They had that song when the bull.
You're asking me? I have no idea.
I don't know. It was like some guy
Ask
had this.
Peter, he might know.
I have no idea.
There was this guy that had this song that was saying, yeah, LeBron, you're a baller, but Jimmy Butler is your father.
I do remember hearing something about that. Now, I didn't know it was a song.
Yeah.
I just thought like someone made a meme or something, but okay.
No, yeah, it was like a song that kind of got the meme treatment at the time, too. It was when, of course, the Bulls and the Cavs were kind of going at it in the Eastern Conference, but I don't know, it was a dumb song and people got way too into it.
Of course.
My ears were bleeding afterwards after hearing that song.
Yeah.
But
Froggy Fresh, apparently.
There we go. Look at that. Boom. Got all this knowledge.
Haven't hit 30 yet this month, so the memories
memories haven't faded yet.
I still got that 20s.
I think
level
I may
memory.
be happy that I don't know this song.
Well, whenever we do our new format and coming up soon, guys. Maybe we'll bump back with some stuff. Maybe we can do some bumper music. There we go.
Bumper music, that will not be one of them.
No Froggy Fresh?
I'm just giving you guys, as family, I'm giving you guys a gift right now.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that song. You don't know what it is now.
Hey, if you guys are watching us, contact us. Let us know what you want us to bump back to.
Yeah. What kind of music?
Yeah, let's do this.
We're gonna have a nice, I think we'll have a nice mix.
Oh, it'll be good.
Get some a little, kind of classic hip hop in there.
Classic,
classic
rock. Some. Oh yeah, we're going to be going all over the board whenever we.
So if you're interested in sponsoring the
sponsorships,
so if you're interested in sponsoring the royalty payments, we'll have to pay for that.
Good point.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Those royalties. Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Those artists like to get paid.
You know what? We'll bump back with our own music. We'll create some songs. How about
you guys said I had a good tone a couple weeks ago.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Indians fever, be a believer.
Do.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's our bump back music. There we go, guys.
Except I'm sure there's royalties in that song too.
No doubt.
That's not a VTL original. If you want VTL originals, though, head on over to VTL.com and get the shirts, get the mugs, the long sleeve shirts.
I saw the hat.
The hat.
The flat brim hat. I saw that's up.
Oh, well,
Is that up?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Peter.
That's supposed to be up.
It looked up to me. So
we're just gonna say coming soon. If you want the stylings of Paulus or myself as we wear our hats on the show, whether you are a front-facing or backwards-facing hat kind of guy.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I was expecting to come in here and you be rocking one. Like
I didn't know.
Well,
apparently it's not supposed to be up.
I didn't know either. Apparently, so no. Well, Peter didn't know.
Oh, okay, it's that one. No, well, I did. I did try to do one with the faces on it, and the problem is with the stitching.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I bet that's all over the place with that one. Yeah,
well, remember the old computer graphics?
Oh yeah,
no, the old computer graphics.
Yeah,
that's
what it looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
hot mess.
We'll avoid that one. Yeah, I like the way it is though. The voice of the land. Yeah, it looks fresh. It does.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it that. Yeah, for sure.
I'll check that out. But if anybody wants to sponsor that for gear,
sponsorships, we're open.
We're open for business. Cavs might be open for business coming up soon.
They will be.
And I know we're kind of talking about where we're at the All-Star break, and you guys said, meh,
Yeah.
You guys know me. Like, this hurts. It's heartbreaking, I guess, if I would go.
Did you really see them having the 14 win? They're 14-22.
No.
So did you expect that, or like what were you expecting?
It's not about necessarily this season being heartbreaking. I mean, it's tough to see a team that had so much potential early.
Sure.
Kind of it gets squandered away so quickly from injuries and other issues we've talked about, and everybody shares blame in it. It's more so, and I know that having that once-in-a-generation player, that doesn't come around often, and the Cavs probably won't see that for a long time. But good basketball has been known in this town. You've had the era of, kind of the Miracle or Richfield. You had the Price, Doherty, Nance years. Of course, LeBron the first time, LeBron the second time. When
LeBron the third time. Coming soon. It will. It's going to happen. I guarantee it.
You think you think he has like the Dwayne Wade treatment?
I think he
when
does.
He goes out.
I think he does, and like it's not going to be for another like 3 or 4 years.
Right.
Like I think he stays in LA until like the final season, and then the final season it's going to be, like hey, here we go, LeBron sort of thing, and he should have that. Like we gave it to Kobe, we gave it to Jordan. 3 different times, like it's understandable. So like, I think I can't wait for that too, by the way. I can't wait I'm not trying to like push LeBron out, but I'm saying like, I can't wait to see what everyone, like everyone's going to start throwing roses at him.
Yeah.
That'll be cool to see.
Yeah.
Cause he deserves it.
He does.
Absolutely. 100%.
And it'd kind of be nice to see a guy like LeBron or kind of have that for the city of Cleveland and kind of for him to go out the right way, and you hope that happens. He's going to give himself as many options as possible to see what Bronny does
no doubt.
Through high school and into college to see if he has that opportunity to come out after his freshman year, if there's any sort of prospects of that at all.
Yeah.
But right now, basketball it's basketball purgatory right now for the Cavs. And they're 14, like you said, they're 14-22. They're kind of hovering around that 9, 10 seed, 11 seed on the brink of that play-in tournament, not in that play-in tournament. It's kind of like they don't know what team they want to be. Are they going to be a
Right.
team that just breaks it all down to go for one more young piece in the lottery? The only reason I don't like that mentality is because of the change in probability of getting the top pick in the NBA draft. You've seen the Cavs and a couple other teams over the last couple years as they drop that percentage. I think it's the top 3 teams have the same percentage.
Like 15%.
15.
Yeah.
It used to be the top team got 25, and then it started to break down from there. And that never guaranteed you anything either.
No, it never did. I mean, look at the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks were bottom 3 for forever.
Yeah.
And they never ended up getting that number 1 pick. The closest they ever got to, I believe, was 3 or 4, something like that. So
Knicks are having a nice season.
they are, you know what? And kudos to them.
Yeah.
But it's going to be one of those moments where like they're going to start getting really good, and like it's just going to be nothing but
obnoxious
Knicks fever, and it's going to suck.
Obnoxious.
Yeah.
The reason why they call Madison Square Garden the Mecca of basketball is because of old history.
Yeah.
And guys like to go in there on opposing teams to silence that crowd.
Right.
They call it, all the current players that are all about the history of the game call it the Mecca of basketball because they want to go in there and make it their house for one night, but they don't want to go play for that owner or for that organization. If they do get good, obnoxious.
No doubt.
Obnoxious. Cavs, I don't want to see the lottery, but if that has to be the way we go, that is the way we go. And you just have to hope the cards fall a little bit better. It's supposed to be a deeper draft, but you never know.
Right.
It's never a sure thing. The draft is never a sure thing in any sport. Anyway, it all comes down to player development, player willingness to be coached.
Where does he go?
Where does he go? Is the situation right or not? There's so many factors involved. I just want to see good basketball. That's all.
No doubt.
It's tough to watch a game where you're up.
Well, we're still a couple people behind.
And you see one season or the season so far all in one game, watching that game against the Pacers. It's heartbreaking as a basketball fan to see that, but I understand. I'm realistic that I knew that this season wasn't going to be something miraculous.
Yeah.
But you still want to start to see some product, some results from the rebuild at some point, and not just be a team that gets the guy and then is just nothing from there on out and can't get it figured out.
Right.
And that's what they're paid to do. Now, before we do switch gears to talk about the Indians, I do want to just remind everyone, like we just said, you can get gear at voiceofland.com and reach out to us right now. If you're tuning in, let us know your thoughts. Where do you stand with the Cavs? At VTL_pod. On our Facebook page at Voice of Land and at Big Play on Facebook. Those are the main sites right there. Hit us up with your comments, your thoughts, and get those comments about your supernatural conspiracy theory thoughts in there, because conversation coming soon. Before we can do that, though, one of the other big news stories of the week is the Indians and Micky Callaway, their former pitching coach, alleged, sexual misconduct, harassment, things of that nature with female media members, female members of the baseball organizations. And recently we knew that the action stemmed back to his time with the Indians.
Right.
But Chris Antonetti, president, came out and said after that first report from The Athletic that they had no knowledge of it. Latest article that just came out this week says they did. They knew about this. They weren't happy about it, but didn't seem like anything was really done. And again, all of these actions are alleged. He says that Micky Callaway has the stance that anything that happened that was against his marriage, his commitment to his wife, was all consensual with all parties involved.
Right.
So you have stories from both sides of the coin. I guess, Paula says, did you get a chance to read the article, and just where are you at with this story? I mean, how much culpability could the Indians have had with this situation, or do you lose any trust in this organization, even just hearing the alleged story that came out?
Yeah, I was able to read some of it. I really didn't want to go too much into it because not because like, oh, I don't believe it or anything like that. I mean, I do. And like, that's the sad part is that I think that all of this did happen, and it's been this machismo culture that we have in sports just needs to end. It does.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I couldn't imagine being like Mary Kay Cabot. I
Right.
mean, she started back, I believe, 1988, the
Yeah.
year I was born. You know, covering the Browns, going into the locker rooms. The locker room culture has completely changed.
Yeah, it
you
has.
and I have both been in locker rooms for like the Cavs, and you with the Indians as well. And
Yep.
it's one of those settings where it is a billion times difference. You know, back then to now. You know, back then they had players changing in front of the reporters, and like once again, female reporters, you know, whenever guys are just letting it all hang out,
Yep.
you know, and like they were making sexual advances towards them, and just it obviously was wrong then, it's wrong now. And it's one of those things where it's like we still have that in this culture, and Micky
Yeah.
Callaway like proves it right here.
Yep.
And we need to get this out, you know, out and about. You know, the Me Too movement was, you know, a couple of years ago. It's still going strong, and thankfully for
Yep.
that, because we need women's voices to be prominent and come out and like, if you see something wrong, say something, bring it up to somebody, because this shouldn't be happening. You know, it's 2021.
Right.
You know, like this isn't 1930s, 1940s, you know, like this isn't, and it wasn't right then. Okay.
Right.
I'm not saying that it was right then either, but like times have changed. Like we as a culture need to change as well. And like I said, I couldn't imagine being a female reporter going in and like, all I want to do is my job. That's all. Like, I just want to go in, do my job to the best of my abilities, and I'm getting subjected to all this BS that is going on. And once again, reading the Micky Callaway stuff, it just leaves a sour taste, a bitter, weird,
Right.
cringy taste
Yes.
in your mouth. And obviously we're not here for that. I did lose trust in Tito. And that, you know, saddens me, because I think, to this day, I still will say Tito is the best manager in baseball. But apparently off the field, like in behind, you know, in the clubhouse, it gets a little squirrely. I mean, we saw it happen in Boston, you know, whenever he got let go there, and it's starting to happen here a little bit, at least just reading, you know, the report there for us. But I did lose faith. I think I have lost some faith in the Cleveland organization, and Chris Annetti, like he keeps like backtracking. He keeps like, no, like can't talk about it. It's an ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, screw that. Talk about it. You know, why'd you lie? Like, did you lie? First off,
Right.
you know, like allegedly you're lying. Did you lie? Yes or no? Just tell us. You know, it's, if you're trying to hide something, and they were saying it's the, you know, worst kept secret in the Indians organization was Micky Callaway doing this sort of stuff. It's sickening.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's sick.
Peter, it's a tough situation. It's one that, you know, we are coming at it from a different angle, not one we can put those that were affected by this, can't really go in their shoes. But I guess as you heard this news come out and read some of the information, heard some of the information, what thoughts were kind of going through your head with this organization and even the Micky Callaway situation?
Well, I'm disappointed in it. I mean, obviously, you have to think, though, with sports, there's a lot of, obviously, there's the machismo, there's a lot of testosterone, you know, and part of me says, you know, if, you know, it's a locker room, you know, maybe we don't have any reporters in a locker room. You know, if you want it to be fair, right, male and female reporters.
Sure.
I mean, a locker room is where you go after the game to change, shower, you know what I mean?
Right.
But the thing is, again, as the media, you want that
access.
You want that access, right?
Yeah.
And
So-
to just cut you off 1 second, sorry. I think with the way that COVID has happened, I think that teams are going to start doing the Zoom stuff like crazy, because it's so much easier.
To keep things in house
to
for
keep
them.
things in house. I guarantee you, like as many teams as possible. And I'm sure the NFL will have something to say about that, because you know they have all their contacts and all the papers and television, everything like that. Everyone wants as much access as possible. But this Zoom stuff, I think it's here to stay. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, and I can see that. And one of the things with like what you said about Antonetti, I didn't read any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But just from like a legal standpoint, like we used to do a lot of media training, filming, and you as a high level person in an organization, you have to zip it.
Sure.
Because you say anything, you know,
Be held
well,
accountable.
yeah, you could be held accountable, and that's the tape that gets pulled into a courtroom when a reporter sues because for you know, so there's a lot of issues there, and it's unfortunately that's the way, you know, the society is pretty litigious.
Yeah.
You know, and the way I look at it is I kind of sit back and I wait to see, you know, the allegations come out, what comes of that, because there's so many knee-jerk reactions. I mean,
there are.
So like everything.
Sure.
And anytime something's in the news and you all of a sudden there's these knee-jerk reactions to this person should, you know, we should cancel this or cancel that or do this or do that. I was
going to say the cancel culture is pretty strong. Whenever you see whenever you see Mr. Potato Head getting canceled, like that and like Dr. Seuss and like it's crazy.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing too. Dr. Seuss, from my understanding, is there were a couple books that his family decided they weren't going to publish anymore. But there's the knee-jerk reaction to we're canceling Dr. Seuss and this and that, and it's like, I'm just sitting back trying to figure out what's the real story.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I've learned, like filming the media training stuff we did for years, was when a crisis happens, you never know all the details right away. But as the media wants the access and everyone wants a scoop,
it comes out.
We do it too. You know, we want to have the scoop. We want to see what happens, and that's why you have alleged this and alleged that. And it's like, until I know the facts, I don't want to make any, you know, opinions on what's going on, because it's I don't know.
Sure.
There's too many things that are unknown. But on the other hand, you got to think, you're a professional and you're harassing, allegedly, a reporter. I mean, their job is to report things in the media. That is, and I'm not saying anyone should harass anyone, but that's like one of the dumbest people that you would think.
100% agree with you, but there are, and I don't know if you've seen like the Les Miles stuff that's going on as well. Kansas, you know, there was a report out that, you know, back in 2013. Now he never, I guess, you know, had intercourse or something like that with the women students that he was, you know, with down there, but like he had a certain type. You know, like he had a type of woman that he hired in to basically get recruits to go, oh, I want to go to LSU. You know, so like, and he would bring him in and he would tell them like, hey, you know, like I can boost up your career. I can do that. I can do that. That's kind of like what allegedly I would assume that Micky Callaway was trying to pull too. Like, hey, you know, I'll give you the scoop if you give me, you know, like, And once again, we have to say allegedly, because right now, like he hasn't been charged with anything, but there are a lot of things in the air right now. And once again, like, you know, going back to the Francona piece here for us, Nick Francona, his son came out on Twitter and bashed, you know, Tito pretty hard. Basically saying like, you know, once again, worst kept secret in the Indians organization. Tito has, you know, never really, you know, stood up for what he should be believing in. Apparently Nick was saying, you know, along the lines of, you know, like you should step up. Like I would step up if I were you. And Tito kept pushing it aside. And once again, that's wrong. If that's exactly what happened, that is dead set wrong.
The alleged acts and all the alleged incidents involved in this entire story, if true, makes me disgusted, ashamed, and will lose trust in what we thought was a quality setup of a front office and an organization. We can talk baseball, and we can talk the business of baseball all we want, and, you know, of course, get on the Dolans for being cheap and have those typical Indians conversations we have all year long. And of course, you know, they're in the works of changing their name or however they're going to go about doing that. So all of this is going to be fluid, and more information will come out as we go. I'm just disgusted by reading all of that. Like those were tough articles to even start reading because of how much information was out there and what was being alleged about Micky Callaway and now how much the Indians and Terry Francona knew about this situation. And more so, I'm disgusted hearing stories like this with Mickey, with Les Miles, and countless others. We know that there are terrible, disgusting people still out there, and you know how guys see girls and how they go after them in the DMs and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it became slang culture to say slide in the DMs and stuff, and people were making jokes about that. But people direct messaging girls, guys direct messaging girls, people direct messaging media members for what they say. Like they don't just disagree with what they're saying, or they try to, you know, kind of promote what that person's trying to promote. They're going at them personally. They're attacking them personally.
Yeah.
And whether it's looks or family or background, sexual orientation, race, whatever it is, we still have these issues today. And we've had many of these philosophical, societal conversations on this show, and doesn't feel like we're making enough progress. Tomorrow, and if you're listening to this later in the week, we are recording this March 7th, 2021, Sunday night. Tomorrow, March 8th, is International Women's Day. And there are a lot of people and a lot of radio stations, TV stations, stores that are celebrating that and doing special things for that. But just like in February is Black History Month, we need to recognize the impact of women, people of different races, sexual orientation, all of these different backgrounds. We need to recognize their impact and their ability to do the same job as anyone else in any profession every single day of the week. Realize, celebrate, recognize the history, the impact they've had on society up until now, and what they can do moving forward. To just have, it's great to have that one day to spotlight it, but it shouldn't just be one day.
Right.
Because getting into this industry and having many influences getting into this particular industry alone in sports media, you have women like Linda Cohn, Hannah Storm, one of my absolute favorites as a basketball fan, Doris Burke, even locally making it big, Allie LaForce, Allie Clifton. Here in the city, you have, people
once again, Mary Kay Cabot.
Mary Kay Cabot. You have Cameron Justice at Channel 5.
Yes.
You even have, a lot of social media influencers like, Breezy Clee on Twitter, and the whole Girl Gang Clee that has done a lot to promote women and that they have legitimate sports takes and they are legitimate.
And it's phenomenal. Like what they do is as good, if not better than everyone else out there. They're fantastic.
Right. Because they have just the same ability to talk sports, have an influence on opinions in the sports media industry as anyone else. We know that there are the select few that call themselves influencers out for clout, and then when they get the pushback, then they try to use that moment to say that they're all about trying to make progress, but they're more so about themselves. We know that, but it's not just women, it's not just men, it's not just one race or another. It's, that's a group that is all encompassing too.
Yeah.
This society, we need to find a way to know that it doesn't matter where you come from, everybody has a lot of ability, a lot of things that they can bring to the table. They need the opportunity to do so. So I want to shout out all the women in sports, music, any profession out there, single moms, whoever, whatever you're doing and making an impact in your society, in your family, in your friends group, whatever. For International Women's Day, we support all of that. But I want to celebrate you every single day. I want to celebrate those of Black culture and Black history that have impacted society. I want to celebrate that all along. And any other background, any sort of other, unique element that makes people themselves, I want society to embrace it, not push back so much. It's 2021, people. Yeah,
we need to get with the times.
It's great to do all this cancel culture and everything like that. That's, if you want to be a part of that and, be Gen Z that wants to cancel whatever because you found one thing that someone said, everybody gets second chances, but everybody deserves at least the first chance to prove that they can do anything that anyone else can do. It's not about the factors that who you are makes you who you are. Mm-hmm. But you can also add so much more to society, and everybody has that ability.
Right.
Let's spread love, not hate. Spread equality, not discrimination. I've said this before on the show, and I'll keep saying it. Spread the love, spread equality, and let's just be more celebratory, embracing of everyone. And our society can really become what we want it to be. And that goes beyond the four lines on a sports field, sports court, anywhere. That is real. That is what is important in life. And I wanted to make sure that we talked about International Women's Day, but also know that, anything that did happen, feel, sorry to any of the, alleged victims of this, and ashamed of what transpired, what allegedly transpired from people that have had an impact on the society and we thought we could trust, and maybe we can't. And that is the most disgusting part for me.
Yep.
Closing this show out, last 10 minutes here, because we want to have a little bit of fun to end it. So anybody that's watching right now, if you're still tuning in, or if you're tuning in late during the week and you got that supernatural, you believe in Bigfoot, aliens, paranormal, whatever it may be. Of course, Baker Mayfield, coming home from dinner with his wife, Emily, saw something, an unidentified flying object. Now, that in itself, he didn't really use the word aliens, but we know UFO kind of gets tied to aliens from another planet.
Yeah.
Like automatically now. Paulus, is there one of those supernatural phenomenon, conspiracy theory, whatever it may be, is there one that you really believe to be true, or are all about and want people to recognize there's some signs that this may exist?
I can't prove anything,
right?
Yeah. But if
we could, this show would
skyrocket. I obviously have no proof or anything like that. But if you think about it hard enough, there's aliens out there. Whether you want to call them aliens or not, there are billions and billions and billions of galaxies and universes and everything out there. There's got to be something else. We can't be that unique, okay? There has to be something else out there. I do believe in aliens, okay? Because I think it's probably the most realistic sort of idea out there. That being said, I don't believe in ghosts per se, myself. I think I have family members that do, no names please, but they feel that they've felt something or they've seen something and they couldn't explain it. To each their own. I'm not going to call you oh, you're a liar, you damn liar. I'm not going to say that, Mom. But no, I'm not going to. I'm not going to say that to anyone.
Happy International Women's Day, Mom.
Yeah, hey, love you, Mom. But I think people do see what they want to see, sort of thing. So I don't believe in ghosts. It goes along with, I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't think that there's a Loch Ness monster. I think that there's crazy weird stuff in the ocean. I don't think Nessie is some weird thing in Scotland's pond. I don't think that that's a thing. But once again, that's just me. But aliens, yes, I do believe in that. I loved, by the way, I loved how Colin Cowherd had the most obvious take in the entire world, bashing Baker Mayfield for, I don't like to see my quarterbacks do that, and then Tom Brady call him out. Tom Brady calling out Colin Cowherd was
fun.
And once again, it was tongue in cheek. Colin saying it, but Colin, the way Colin does it, okay, and I get it. It's the name that we don't so dead on serious in the camera, just panned right to the camera. It was fantastic. You knew it was tongue in cheek, obviously, but it was one of those where I respect him because he knows his audience so damn well. He knows he's going to get those retweets. He knows I was going to talk about it. That's how it goes. But I know you're not going to say a damn thing about it, but once again, getting back to it, I do believe in aliens. No for ghosts, no for Bigfoot. Nessie, I don't believe in that stuff.
Okay. Peter?
Oh, man. So I'd have to say I agree with Nick on the aliens. There has to be something out there.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not they're more advanced than we are, I don't know. Because, that could be, for all we know, we're the most advanced species in the universe.
But think about that. Really?
But, right.
like, is this as good as it gets? I don't know.
Have you seen Idiocracy? So.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
It's what plants crave.
Gatorade.
It's Brundo. I need to watch that again.
It's a good one.
It is. Ghost is a weird one because I kind of go back and forth on that.
Okay.
But I will say I had an experience.
Ooh, here we go.
I was probably about Jacob's age. I might be 14 or so, and we were at a friends of my parents' house. It was in Philadelphia. It was a haunted convent that they lived in.
Creepy.
Oh yeah. And the thing is, I didn't know that it was supposedly haunted when I had this experience.
Okay.
So, as being an old brick convent, it was about 3 stories, and my parents were down with their friends chatting, whatever. I went upstairs. There's like a 3rd floor room that was kind of like a lounge. So they had a TV, and the couch, whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there watching TV by myself.
Yep.
And I had that feeling that someone walked in the room. Like you get that feeling like when there's someone in a room with
looking at you.
Yeah, you get that weird feeling. What freaked me out was, I swear to God, I felt the couch cushion next to me sink. Someone sat down right next to me, and I stood up, turned off the TV, booked it out of there.
How old were you?
Probably about 14.
Okay, 14. Okay.
Yeah.
So Mike Rizzo, we had talked about this yesterday on the Pong Wild Colt show, ESPN Cleveland.
Yeah.
He was talking about, he was about 6 or 7 years old, I think he said, 5 or 6 or something like that. And he said that he went to this old church where like his mom used to do like jazzercise class or something. And, him and a couple of the other kids were like rounding the corner, and like a ghost. He said, I want to get this right. I want to say a palish greenish ghost, tried to like convince him or, like to like scare him or something.
Yeah.
And he booked it. Like, if you saw a ghost, what would you do? Like, are you just running for the hills, or like, would you like try and, I don't want to say confront it, because I think that's, I mean, if you're seeing stuff,
I think I would nope the heck out of there.
You nope the heck out of that.
You know how in like cartoons, when the cartoons like sprint away, like looks like they're like still standing, the silhouettes there, like it's like that speed. That I get as close to that as possible.
That's you. Okay.
Because I don't want ghosts to be real.
True. Yeah.
I won't watch Paranormal Activity. Like, that's one thing. I don't know that I believe in ghosts.
Okay.
But if it's ever proven that ghosts exist, I might find another place.
Have you never seen the Paranormal Activity, the first movie?
I've never seen the first one. I went one time to like one of the later ones to it, and my eyes were shut most of the time. Like, I don't do scary movies. I don't do like the ghost movies, the gory movies.
The first one was fantastic.
My sister loves horror movies. My sister Sarah. She rented out this past year. The movie places, the cinemas and stuff. They're starting to rent out the rooms and stuff, and you bring in a movie and watch it. She wanted to watch The Conjuring. Now, I've never seen The Conjuring myself. And she was like, "Oh yeah, let's watch this." I'm not a huge scary movie fan, but like, nope. I'm good. I'm good. No, thank you.
No. Yeah, I can't. I don't watch movies like that. I don't want to see anything like that. If I'm like home alone and I gotta, of course, I gotta take a nap or something, like I'm locking every single lock on the door, and I'm taking every precaution necessary.
Yeah.
I guess if there's supernatural things that I do believe in, it would be aliens.
Okay.
And Bigfoot. I'm big.
You do believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe that Bigfoot or a species that like kind of, it's very minimal, but of that ilk. My thing is, there are a lot of, merchandising elements, things that people have marketed for aliens, and the way that they're displayed in movies, and even the way Bigfoot is. Hocking Hills is a big place here in Ohio that, does stuff with Bigfoot. We just, my fiance and I just visited a possible wedding venue down at Salt Fork State Park down there.
Oh yeah,
Kind of around her area in the southeastern part of Ohio, and they have Bigfoot conventions there. Like guys come in, and it's just the way that they're presented. There's like a very similar look.
So I don't get Bigfoot. Okay, like I just don't see it. You know, like I don't think that there's like a walking bear man out there.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of what Bigfoot reminds me of.
That one I don't feel like as strongly about. Where
Okay.
I'm gonna like pound the table.
If you believe it, I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, come on, Kevin. You know, to each their own.
I question it. Like,
Okay.
I just think whether it still exists,
Sure.
or maybe we won't find it because it existed at one point and it doesn't anymore because there was just not enough of the species to
Sure.
keep on going. I understand the people. What makes me question it is people do bring up a good point. They've been able to find the stuff with dinosaurs.
Sure.
They've been able to find those and go to the natural history museums. You're going to see the markups of the bones that they've recovered in archaeology, paleontology. But aliens, man, this can't be it.
Right.
Intelligent life. Like, this can't be it.
And and I'm 100% with you guys on that because
you know how big space is?
Right.
We can't reach it, but you know how big space is?
It takes what, 3 months, 6 months to send that Land Rover
6 months to Mars.
I don't even know how long. And like to the sun, I think it would take like a couple of years. Is my understanding? It would take a while to get to the sun, and that's the closest star that is to us.
Right.
There are trillions and like trillions upon trillions upon trillions of other stars that as big, if not bigger than the sun out there, and like you got to think something's rotating it, right?
Yeah.
And once again, Peter, like I'm with you. I don't know if there's other people or like I don't think there might be little green Martian guys that are going around with like little ray guns. I don't know about that, but whenever it gets down to the meat and potatoes of it, like as sophisticated as I would like to think that we are as a society, we're still dealing with all those issues that you were just mentioning.
About to say that.
It's one of those things where there's got to be smarter people out there. There's got to be smarter things out there than us. So I gotta believe in that. The ghosts, maybe spirits, which I don't know really what the difference is. Yeah. Like maybe a spirit is like a feeling sort of thing, or
I don't know. I just feel like that's more of a professional or like more just a nicer way to say
a nicer
ghost.
word of it. Yeah. You know what? That's probably right. Yeah.
I mean, my thought with that is that one of the things I grapple with is our consciousness. That it's so weird to think that I'm going to be 46 this month.
Sure.
That 46 years ago, I didn't exist. There was no consciousness, and that in God willing, another 46 years or more,
right?
That could just be gone.
So, okay, so we're up against
we can really keep going.
I know. So there's a show on Netflix that just came out. It's about it's called Surviving Death or something like that.
Okay.
And it is. I mean, it goes into not aliens, but like ghosts and reincarnation and things of that sort of nature. And like the reincarnation part, like. I'm starting to believe in that a little bit just because, and that goes against a lot of religion stuff out there, but there was this one kid that was born.
I was going to bring the same thing up.
Dude,
I was going to say, we don't have time for this.
I know, but real quick, there was this one kid that was born okay, so this
he's
kid
like 12 now, right?
He's like 12 or something like that, or he probably around 12. I think they shot him whenever he was like 6 or whatever. But he was younger, and he was talking about oh, my name's Jordan, and I'm live in Philadelphia and whatever. And he's like, I died, I got stabbed or whatever, and they were like, no, your name's Max or whatever.
Yeah.
And he goes into detail, this 4, 5, 6-year-old goes into this detail of exactly how Jordan died. And then you go and find out that Jordan was an actual kid named Jordan in Philadelphia that got killed the same year that this kid was born. and like got stabbed right there, and like he remembers everything. And then they showed him photos of like of Jordan's mom and like everything like that. And the kid was like, "Oh yeah, no, that's it. They hooked him up to like a polygraph test and everything. And he was like telling the truth all the way through. He didn't creepiest stuff I've ever seen. I was like, once again, I don't believe in ghosts, but like that reincarnation thing, where does your conscious go? I think it gets just revamped into another thing. I
heard a theory that it was, God, what was that? Coast to Coast. Because sometimes I have those really late meetings.
Yeah.
That's what's on the radio. This woman was talking about that, after you die, your consciousness goes into like the ether, right? That's and so when someone's
goes
born,
to the clouds.
Well, basically, right. But when someone's born, they just kind of like scoop some of that, and that's the new person. So that's where you have people that have
scooped all of Jordan.
Well, apparently, memories of different past lives, just because you are created out of like bits and pieces of previous consciousness.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, I'm like, one, I want to know what she's smoking because it sounds like it's really good. But I'm like, I can kind of see that, because it's weird to think that everything you are at some point it's just gone.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. See, we could show.
We could do the entire show doing this.
We could go on forever and ever, but we do have to cut things there.
We do.
I do have obligations. I have to, or else I would allow this to keep going a little bit longer. But you guys can, by all means, you guys can stay. Give me a VTL extra. Keep the cameras rolling.
We might keep it going. Yeah.
I can always just dip out right now. If you guys want to show me the door. But I mean, there's just things to be questioned in the world, and things that beyond our ability to even comprehend them. You still got to at least question it. You can't just say. I don't feel like you could say no to it.
Yeah.
But if you do, that's
once again, to each their own.
To each their own. That's the best way to put it. And to each their own on what conversations you enjoyed or maybe didn't enjoy tonight on the show. But if you did and you want to tune in again, of course, we are live every Sunday on our Twitter page and can be seen throughout the week. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Sportscaster, all throughout the week. Get all the podcast audio on your major podcast platforms, and reach out to us, have conversations throughout the week, and we'll keep this stuff going. We'll reel one conversation into the next week if we have to. If people are really into it, we'll do that. So reach out to us on Twitter and at CLE_Paulus, at Kevin and 7, at LPV Productions, or at VTL_pod. But for my supernatural brother, Nick Paulus, and our paranormal producer, Peter Tellup, I'm Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you sports fans out there, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. In a world where we know things aren't where we want them to be, but we're trying to get them there, we truly love everyone, all of you that tune in and beyond. We truly love you all, 3,000. We will see you next Sunday night at 7 p.m. for The Voice of Land on the Big Play Network. Have a good night, everybody.